All systems go. Cleared for takeoff.
What is going on, SHIPIT Nation YouTube station? We're back with the Sunday Night Football Showdown breakdown. I got my guy Hamwich with me. We're bringing this live to you Saturday evening here, breaking down this 50.5 point total, the Bills and the Cincinnati Bengals in Cincinnati here. And Hamwich, I'm going to throw it over to you right away. Is Joe Burrow back, man? They came in and they got the job done last week, dusting the San Francisco 49ers there at San Fran, 31-17. Joey B, Smoking Joe, Jamar, Two-Fly Chase, getting the job done. Dusty-ass Joe Mixon got the job done as well. Where are you going in this game, man? But more importantly, how's your weekend going? How you doing, man?
Yeah, weekend's going good. Watching the good LSU-Alabama game, and this is going to be a good one. Joey B's back. His LSU Tigers on the TV right now. This is the trend that's going to continue, Nades. The good games, not on the main slate tomorrow. Got bookends, dynamite games in the morning, one at night. Should be a good one. Excited to talk about it. Joey B, you got to love him tomorrow. Let's talk about it. Dive right in.
Smoking Joe at home, baby, coming off a dusting there against the team that everyone thought, hey, are they going to go 17-0, right? Those 49ers. And, man, they took that train and they rode that train right off the cliff as of late. And the Bengals got the job done. Burrow continues to get healthier and healthier here. I've thought these Bills have been overrated. I thought they were overrated last season. Seems like they're not the greatest overall this year. Played a pretty tight game last week against Tampa Bay, which I don't think Tampa Bay is a very great squad anyways. Wasn't very impressed with that. Obviously lost to New England there. Lost to Jacksonville overseas in that game. And then obviously lost to the Jets. Did beat some good teams in there, Miami, right? But the other teams that they beat, right? The Raiders are trash. The Commanders are trash. Jacksonville they lost to Jacksonville. Jacksonville's not the greatest team. They beat the Giants, right? We know who the Giants are. We've played the Giants a lot on these primetime slates, which is always so fun. And then beat the Bucs, right? And you look at the flip side of these Bengals here. Bengals are coming off 3 straight wins, 2 road wins, right? In Arizona and in San Fran. And then the win at home against Seattle, a very good Seattle football team as well. So things are trending in the right direction for these Bengals. Things seem to be going kind of subpar here overall for the Bills. What's your overall kind of takes on this slate here, looking at both of these teams in a 50.5 point total here in Cincinnati?
Yeah, you kind of alluded to it. The Bengals, they seem to be back. Joey B's back. Calf looks good. He seems to be rocking and rolling. He looked very, very good last week against that 49ers defense. And Bills have been struggling. You talked about that win at the Giants. I mean, they literally had 1 yard. The Giants did the win on the last play of the game. So they've been struggling. I know they're going to be up for this one, right? It's a continuation, or not a continuation, but I don't know what you want to call it, of last year, right? We all remember the game last year. And so it's going to be an emotional game, going to be a high-scoring game, we think, and it's going to be a good one, that's for sure. I like the Bengals to win, though. I do, and so we'll talk about that. I think my captain and my flex is going to reflect that as well.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. You did a great breakdown overall off the top here. Again, if you guys are new, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We're on the drive for 5, right? We just hit the tour for 4, gave away a 6-month membership. Now we're on the drive for 5. And once we get that drive home sweet home, find Sweet Home Alabama there at the end of 5,000 subscribers, we're going to give away a year membership for free to a member, or to a YouTube interaction, right? Subscriber out here, someone that's dropping a comment. And meanwhile, in the comment section below, drop your favorite captains, your score prediction as well, right? How much the thing still stays true. Someone guessed the right score with the winner appropriately. We'll give away a month membership over here, courtesy of you and myself, to SHIPIT Nation, to the premium content. No promo codes going on right now, unfortunately. We ran code NBA10 for a long time. We're preaching on all of our shows, but you can still get in over at SHIPITNation.com, $69 a month, $6.99 for the year, or the 6-month package as well. Covers all sports, projections, content, tools, slate plan, core plays, and SHIPIT Nation education videos, one for NFL, one for NBA as well. It's been amazing over here at SHIPIT Nation. Tons of printers going on over here. If you follow us on Twitter, you see those screenshots of members turning sub $100 nights into tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's been absolutely a crazy heater. So looking to keep it going here. I'll throw it over to you. Your captain pool. Where are you looking at the captain here tonight in this game? 50.5 point total again in Cincinnati here. The Bills and the Bengals.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise. I'm going to start with the two quarterbacks. I mean, Josh Allen, he's the highest priced captain. And the reason he's more high priced than Joe Burrow is simply because of his legs, in my opinion. He can beat you in so many different ways. I do think they're going to be down. So I do think Josh Allen will be slinging around. So I like Josh Allen at captain. Also like Joe Burrow. I said it earlier. He looks all the way back and, didn't have to do a whole lot. I don't feel like last week they were in control. 28 of 32. I think at one point he had thrown 19 straight completions in that game. Pretty much slice and diced, like you said, a Niners defense that was very strong. He even got 43 yards himself on the ground. So I do like the two quarterbacks. As it relates to receiver or non-quarterbacks, there's a receiver I like. Obviously, Jamar Chase would be number one, and then my kind of my off the board captain this week is going to be Dalton Kincaid. Bengals struggle against the tight end. He's 10-2. Should be very low owned in that captain spot. He's almost like a wide receiver, 2, if you will. I mean, I would say him and Gabe Davis are right there, right behind Stephon. So I really like Dalton Kincaid on the Bills side, and I think that'll do it for me from the captain spot. Just looking through the list, I may put James Cook in my player pool as well. He doesn't play enough plays for me to kind of fully get there, but I would say those 5 are probably going to be in my player pool.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown. He definitely took one of my captains I was looking at in Dalton Kincaid there. I mean, Hamilton is too sharp, buddy. But Cincinnati, everyone knows I'm a DVP guy. Call it for what it is, but it's been winning me a lot of money this season so far, winning a lot of members. We do have those tools available over here at SHIPITNation.com. Other places do have things like it around the industry as well. I just like how easy our tool is to use. So Dalton Kincaid, I do like him at 10-2. I really like that sweet spot. The reason I like him is he's cheaper than guys like Gabe Davis, right? Jamar Chase, Stephon Diggs, things like that. But you also want to play those guys in your lineup. When you throw those guys up in the captain spot, you run out of salary pretty quick. Obviously, we're going to talk on some of the cheapies, like guys like Trent Sherfield, right? Deontay Hardy, coming off a goose egg last week. I mean, you got guys down at the bottom, right? Tanner Hudson, Drew Sample, some other guys. It gets pretty weak pretty quickly down for value. So looking at a guy like 10-2, right, for Dalton Kincaid, I definitely have a ton of interest in Dalton Kincaid at the captain position here. Josh Allen captain, I think, is fine here, but I do think it's the chalkiest captain on the slate. It's going to be between him and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase might approach a little bit higher ownership, but anytime Josh Allen's on the slate and you're talking a showdown slate, people, I mean, we've seen Hoop, we've seen Title and things like that go 150 locked with Josh Allen or 50% Josh Allen in the captain plus. Definitely one way to go. I'm typically a little bit team underweight on quarterbacks in the captain's position. I typically go more to the skill players, just the chances I take. Again, I play 3 to 5 main teams and then a 20 max, and I just like to be overweight on the skill position players. So that's kind of the approach I'm going to take here again tonight. Love Jamar Chase at the captain spot. Really like Dalton Kincaid. And then it feels a little gross here, but I'm feeling a Joe Mixon game here. I know it's gross. Joe Mixon is dusty, but he had a great game against a very, very, very stout run defense last week in San Fran, right? Obviously, the game script played pretty well for him there. But coming back here, I mean, Bengals are at home. Running backs have gashed this Bills team around a little bit in terms of a matchup if you look at it. I mean, Rachaad White just went for almost 18 points last week on the same team here for the Bills. 18. Stevenson put up 15. Barkley was injured, not fully healthy, still put up 14. ETN dropped a 40 spot on them. in that game overseas there. So I really like, I really like Joe Mixon here. I just don't think people go to him. I mean, I'm seeing between 5 and 8% ownership probably at the captain position. Same thing with Dalton Kincaid. I'm seeing sub 5% ownership on Dalton Kincaid. So when you look at those two guys in particular, those are two of the lower owned captains that I'm really interested in. And then obviously got to have interest in Stephon Diggs and Jamar Chase. I mean, Stephon Diggs just continues to do it each and every week. This guy is just absolute stud out there. Definitely the first read for Josh Allen here. 22, 39, 28, 23, 18, and 16. Hasn't scored under 16 DraftKings points in any game this season, but the second game there against the Las Vegas where they blew the brakes off of them and obviously wasn't needed a ton there. Every other game, he's been basically in the 20s or higher. So pretty good floor, pretty safe option at the captain position. I'm seeing him lower owned than guys like Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, and Jamar Chase. Just obviously price does have something to do with that, right? He is the second highest priced captain on the slate. So ranking my captains for me, I'm going to go Jamar Chase number 1, probably the chalkiest option. I'm actually going to go Dalton Kincaid 2, Joe Mixon 3, and then Stephon Diggs would be 4th for me. Obviously, you can play Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, but I'm going to be a little bit underweight in the captain position on those guys. And then one of my lower owned captains that I want to look at and have interest in here, I like the Bengals to win. So I actually like Tyler Boyd here. Looking at red zone targets, Tyler Boyd the last 4 weeks has actually had a decent amount of red zone targets here. He's third on the team or second on the team behind Jamar Chase. So Tyler Boyd at just 8,100, it allows a lot to go right in your lineup, right? Fit a lot of these guys. The value is pretty weak in my opinion on the slate. And if people do punt with the value position, which I think everyone's roster is going to be kind of the same, right? Everyone's going to want to go down and play Deontay Hardy, right? People have been trying to make Hardy work for a long time here. So I like those captains. Where are you going? Summarize your captain pool here before we jump into the flex.
Yeah, I thought about that as well. Once you said Tyler Boyd, I like Tyler Boyd, but number 1 for me is going to be Josh Allen. I just like him. Like I said, I think he's going to be down. I think he's going to be down, 2 touchdowns in the second half. He'll be slinging it. He'll be running it. So I like him. I like Joe Burrow as my second. Jamar Chase. Nades, what if I told you the year was 2023 and there was a gentleman by the name of Joshua Norman that was going to be trying to cover Jamar Chase? Josh Norman suiting up for this Buffalo Bills in the year 2023. Tre'Davious White gone for the season. The back end of this Bills secondary is not very good. Christian Benford, who's also a cornerback, he's been limited in practice all week. So I like Jamar. I'm number 3. I would go Dalton Kincaid 4, and then give me Cook, and then I'll also have Tyler Boyd as well. I'd say I'm going to go 5-10% if I'm doing 150. I like Boyd. I think the middle of the field will be exploited. Could get in the box twice. I'm out on Joe Mixon. I don't know if you said him for captain, but I'm out on Joe Mixon. I think the Bengals like to throw it too much, and he'd have to get in the box twice. Just don't think he's going to do that. But hey, you said it. He's not going to be played. So if he does, then you'll be looking good. So anyway, those would be the 5 that I would kind of look at as my captain.
Yeah, Joe Mixon is just a leverage play for me. I mean, the matchup's there, the price is fair, right? 8K in the flex at the captain position for Joe Mixon, 12K. That's a fair price point, and you talked about it, right, Mr. Norman there. All it takes is a little tug of that jersey, little flag comes out of the pocket for the old referee there, and there you see Mr. Joe Mixon, right, 2-yard plunge in the old end zone a couple of times, and hey. He does that, he's going to get the job done. And he actually hasn't been terrible. I mean, like I said, last week, scored a touchdown, got in the box, got 3 targets as well in the pass game there, 16 carries, just missed the 100-yard bonus there against a very, very stout run defense, and now faces one of the worst run defenses in the league so far through 9 weeks of the season. So I just think Joe Mixon definitely under-owned captain in this game, and you could definitely see a Joe Mixon game here. I mean, we've seen him pop off for 5 TDs last year. Remember that game? I think everyone remembers that game, because if you didn't have him, you were drawing stone dead when he goes out there and drops a 60 ball on the slate. So it sounds like I have a little bit more interest. I'm just team skill position players personally in the captain, because I get the whole point, right? Josh Allen's going to be trailing, but Josh Allen really keys in on Stephon Diggs. So if they are trailing and chucking the ball a lot, Josh Allen hasn't ran as much this year as he has in years past, right? It's going to be a lot easier for a guy like Stephon Diggs at basically the same ownership and cheaper to pay off in that captain's position, because he's racking up all those PPR points as well. So that's just the route I'm going. Obviously, you can go with the quarterbacks as well. That's why we have 2 angles to this show. But let's jump into the flex. Obviously, the same guys applying the flex. I do want to throw out the kickers here. Both very good kickers, Tyler Bass, Evan McPherson. Obviously, the McPherson at home here at cheaper, 4,800. Think he's definitely a great play here. I like the Bengals to obviously win as well. So McPherson, I think, makes a lot of sense in this game at just 4,800. The Bills defense there at 4,200. The Bengals defense at 3,800. Again, another slate where you see both defenses priced underneath these kickers here. And it's been the story of the slate, a story of these primetime games, right? Defenses. So touch on those guys, and then touch on the value as well. Because like I said, the value play that I think everyone kind of gravitates to is Deontay Hardy. Again, dropped the goose egg last week, but he's been heavily involved. The Bills, especially if you expect them to trail, got him a lot more involved. The couple weeks prior to last week, obviously we've seen an explosion game come from Tupac, Mr. Shakir there. But Shakir's now up to 3,400 here. So hit on those guys. Where are you going at the flex position?
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the guys down there, I mean, I don't see really anybody. I think the lowest I could go would be Irv Smith Jr. And even there at $1,600, he would be tough. The gentleman Andre Iosif, I can't pronounce his name. I mean, he scored a touchdown last week, but that was his only target. I can't play Trenton Irwin, playing under 30%. Trent Sherfield. I think Irv Smith would kind of be the lowest I would go. I don't mind Latavius Murray, I guess. If you thought that the Bills were gonna, be up, which you and I don't. I think your boy Tupac is gonna have a good game again. He had almost 100 yards last week. He's clearly the number 3 receiver, leaps and bounds ahead of Sherfield and Hardy. So I don't mind Shakur even at 3,400. And then I'm not playing these defenses. I mean, we talk about it all the time. I mean, you've had to have them. If they get a defensive touchdown, you're almost fried. But Bass and McPherson are 2 of the better kickers. If you need that, I'd rather kind of get up to them. And then the guys we already touched on, Boyd, Cook, kind of in that range. Neither one of us mentioned T. Higgins or Gabe Davis. What are your thoughts on either one of those? Yeah, what are your thoughts on those? I'm probably out on Higgins, probably in on Davis if I had to.
Yeah, I really like Gabe Davis here. Higgins is basically an underweight fade for me in this game. I like Tyler Boyd a lot more than Higgins, to be honest with you. And obviously the savings there at, he's $2,000 cheaper. I just like that a lot better. I'm seeing very similar ownership on them as well here. Actually, I'm seeing T. Higgins a little bit higher owned. People continue to try and make T. Higgins work. Could it be there? Yeah, it could, but I just like Tyler Boyd's role more. He's been getting a lot of red zone snaps. He's gotten 2 targets the last 2 weeks in the red zone here. That's second on the team behind Jamar Chase. And then that Mr. Andrea Iosvisis, I think, or however you pronounce it. Interested in note him, which he's caught TDs in back-to-back weeks here. Doesn't play a lot of snaps, but he's 6'3". He's a red zone guy. He's got 2 red zone targets, 1 in each one of the games. Caught a touchdown. Both times he's been targeted, last week and the week before, in the red zone. But 7 points, is 7 points going to find the optimal here? It could, with all the studs on the slate, right? So it's just a matter of that. I do think people, game log watchers, things like that, if they're punting, they might click his name over some of these other guys, right? Like an Irv Smith, obviously a Sherfield, Irwin, some of those guys. I don't think it's the craziest play here in the world. I'm just trying to stay clear of these punt range, right? Because you just need – Tambo talks about it all the time, right? find these diamond in the roughs. Everyone tries to make these guys work. Sometimes you just find that balance build, right? That balance build and avoiding those, going with a Dalton Kincaid captain, right? A Tyler Boyd captain, a Joe Mixon captain, and just playing good plays around it and rounding it out with a kicker or a defense here. I mean, I get it. It's a 15.5 point total, but points lead to dropbacks, to passes. All it takes is one guy to jump a route, pick six. We saw it with that Vegas game, right? Last week. Didn't take much, right? Vegas was supposed to get the doors beat off of them, and they found their way into the optimal build for Showdown because they jumped the route, pick six to the house. Doesn't take much when you're 3,800 and 4,200, and the value like this is pretty weak outside of Shakir.
I was going to say the crazy thing is they did get the doors beat off them. They were awful, and they got a defensive touchdown. I think they even gave up 30 points, and they were still in the optimal. Like you said, it's crazy. I mean, you get a couple picks, couple sacks, and then one to the crib, then you're in the optimal. Even you give up 30 and lose by 20 or whatever they lost by. So you made a valid point there. I don't think 7's going to be on the optimal though. So I think the kickers would be above that guy. I understand they're more expensive, but I don't think I think you're going to have 10 plus from every position in this game, just based off the total and the kind of weaponry we have in this game as well.
Yeah, I don't like Tyler Bass much. I'm not sure why Tyler Bass is more expensive than McPherson when McPherson, I mean, 19 down game against Tennessee, right? But they got the doors beat off of him there, 27-3. Obviously, he scored the only points that they had, but then 12, 7, and 9. You just do a little game log watch, and he's at home here in a game where I expect them to win. McPherson is definitely one of my favorite plays in the slate. I always like Money Mack here. McPherson, obviously, this guy's got more confidence. I think he's got the most confidence on the team behind a guy like Joe Burrow, right? Obviously, going out there and banging it, right? You got all the locker room in there. He said, "Put me in the game. Let me kick the game-winning field goal all the time." All the talk around him. So 4,800 for him. Really like that. But yeah, my plan is to go skill position at the captain and round it out with kind of this mid-tier. I don't like these value plays too much here, and I think a lot of people try and make them work. Anytime you got a Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Jamar Chase slate, people want to throw those guys up in the captain, and you run out of salary quick because I think people want to play 2, maybe 3 of those guys in their lineup, whether one's at the captain, 2 are in the flex, vice versa, between Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Chase, and Burrow. Right. So those 4, I mean, people are going to try and make 3 of them work. And how you do that, how much you come down to this cheap range with guys like Iovisis, the Hardys, those guys down at the bottom. So just flipping the build a little bit, I think, is definitely an interesting route on this slate. Any additional thoughts on this? I do think we see with this close of a spread, this high of a total, 3-3 build is going to be probably pretty chalky. Obviously, they're chalky each and every time, but probably even a little bit chalkier on this slate. So anytime you go in a game like this where it's projected to be a lot of points, you can see one team just come out, the other team come out flat, right? I could see the Bengals rolling into this game high off of home, trying to make a statement against the Bills here after they just put a beating on San Fran last week. In San Fran. Now they come back home. Burrow's feeling good. Burrow's feeling healthy, right? So if I was going to go a 5-1 side, I think I'd prefer the Bengals side. But I really like the 4-2 builds. I'm always a 4-2 guy on this slate. And I really like the 2-4, right? One from like even if you do like a Joe Mixon captain and you do like a Burrow or Jamar Chase, and then you run it back with 4 Bills on the other side. Something like that is really what I like. But what's your thoughts on that? Any final closing remarks on the slate here?
Yeah, please don't play Deontay Hardy. That's not going to end well for anybody. I think he's in line for another 0. But yeah, I think the Bengals win. I think 4-2s, 5-1s would be the way to go. I'm not opposed, like you just said, Mixon in the captain, Chase in the flex, and then 4 Bills, where you have, say, a Mixon game. Burrow throws for 199, Chase gets 125 of those, and then you can have 4 Bills. I don't mind that. I was just using Mixon as an example. I'm not saying put him in the captain, but a 2-4 that way. I could see that as well, but I would prefer 4-2 Bengals or even 5-1 Bengals this time, and then I would flip it on its head and go 2-4 as well. But yeah, that's it. It should be a good one. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, excellent. I think we broke it down. I think we hit on every angles here. Again, I'm trying to live Shakir and above, maybe Latavius Murray. But I really don't like dropping below Latavius Murray. Really, I think these defenses are more in play than you do personally. I'm seeing pretty low ownership, sub 15% on both of them. And the Bengals defense has actually been pretty good. Looking at it, 11, 5, 16, 12, and 9 the last 5 weeks. That's pretty good at just 3,800 there at home. So I already like Mixon a little bit in this game. I kind of like the Mixon Bengals defense correlation a little bit. Gets you off of a different roster construction, lands you in that mid-tier too. So that's something I'm looking at. But that's going to do it for this edition of the Sunday Night Football Showdown breakdown. Again, good luck in all your contests. Good luck tonight in your contests. Hopefully your main slate and your afternoon lineups are doing good. For Hamlich, I'm Nadesify. We're going to get on out of here. Good luck tonight. Let's ship it.